Kate.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, now we can. Yeah, is Mo there with you?
No, I'm isolating. I can't have someone in my house. Yeah. Can you hear me all right? Because I feel like no one can hear me.
Now we
Can
can.
hear you well down.
Oh, okay, because I've got loudspeaker on, so I don't know if it's weird.
We'll record it for him.
That's right. Anyway. All right, sweet. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. Can everyone just We're getting some echoes. From UK.
What?
You're echoing. Can you go on mute?
Yeah, I'm not making any noise though.
No, my voice is echoing through your phone. All right, sweet. Yeah, so it's been a little while since we did one of these. So we're kind of just going to go through, I guess, a few things that have changed during COVID on the bar. I'm going to go over some things that are going to change in the future, some new things that start happening, things we're going to work towards, all that kind of stuff. I guess first off, we should welcome David and Mo, and I guess Amy as well, because I guess she wasn't here for any of the meetings we've had in the past as well. Yeah, so today we're going to go over some basics and some fundamentals for the new baristas, and I guess just some simple stuff that we should all be on top of. We're going to go over some expectations moving forward. A few of the changes that happened over COVID, what we're doing in the future as well. All right, so a few of the changes that we've had since COVID started. So we've started with the Noah and Parker cups, which I think are actually going surprisingly well. I think they're doing really, really well. Kate, do you know how many individual customers we have on that system at the moment?
As in how many we've saved?
Yeah.
I think it's like 1,600 or something.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, so I think that's going pretty well. I don't think it's really caused too much of an upset to our workflow at all. I think it's been pretty easy to handle. A couple other things, just making sure we're no longer cupping like hot batches and long blacks and stuff like that. So we're just doing single cups for those drinks. For a cup of tea as well. So yeah, just make sure that just one cup, no double cups. And if we can, don't put a lid on an espresso or a long mac or something like that. Just offer it, see if they want one. That's just in a way to try and be a bit more sustainable, to try and save on the wastage and save on cups and stuff. Obviously, we've got our soft plastic bin that started as well, just underneath the bar. So we all know, making sure to put the milk bladders in there, any plastic wrapping from cups and stuff like that. I think that's been pretty straightforward as well. We've also got the new coffee bag recycling as well. So any coffee bags we use, just make sure to take the tin tie off and pop them in the bin near the front door. And yeah, there's been a couple of new drinks and stuff started as well. Obviously, the chocolate ripple milkshake to replace the Oreo, and we have the new Sig drink as well, the red grape and tarragon spritzer. So yeah, that's kind of the stuff that we've implemented in the past couple of months. I guess.
Sorry, can I just say one thing about the coffee bag bin?
Yep.
If it gets full, just take it remove it from the front section and just put it to one side and let me know, because what happened last time was it got so full and the bags weren't being pushed down, so they need to be pushed down when it gets full instead of just ramming it into that tiny hole. And just let me know, because I'll get a new one out.
Yep. All right. So that's kind of the stuff that we've implemented in the past few months. I guess the stuff that's going to be happening in the future. Obviously, we're going to release a new Pinnacle coffee early in the new year. I think mid-January is roughly what it is, right? It's February now, or it probably was February before. All right, so that's a new Pinnacle coffee then. We're looking at starting up some new coffee library coffees, so some more pour overs or espressos or whatever it might be. Still trying to figure out what that might be. I think Gab's been working on some stuff. I've kind of played around with some stuff in the past few days as well. So yeah, expect some more of that stuff in the future. We're looking to do smaller menus this time. So rather than last time where it was 4 coffees available 3 different ways, it's now just going to be 1 coffee available one way, or 3 coffees available one way, or something like that. So just a lot more easy to manage on our end, and hopefully on the floor staff end as well.
Are we able to get those new frozen edition before Christmas?
Yes, yes, without a doubt. I already locked in 1 coffee. I think the whoosh whoosh.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, get a few more in the next couple of days, I reckon. We're also thinking about the way that we serve these coffees as well. So right now it's I think we can make it a bit more interesting. So we're trying to figure out some ways that we can kind of elevate that service experience, make it a bit more interesting to the customers, rather than just someone putting a card down and rattling off some tasting notes. We're not sure where that's going to be. We talked about the possibility of there being like a video or something that the customers can watch, or even a QR code that they can scan to read things. But yeah, so hopefully getting people more engaged and sort of make it more than just a coffee that they get to drink, but an experience they get to experience.
I think on that, yeah, we don't know what that experience will look like, but I think everyone, all the floor staff, as well as the baristas, obviously need to know what what these coffees are, and be able to kind of talk about some of the tasting notes and what they, some more information about it. So it's not just the barista having to deliver that information as well. So if any of the floor staff are unsure, I think we just need to kind of coach them on that.
Yeah, for sure. And as some of you might know, we're looking to renovate the bar, I guess slowly over the next few months with any luck, depending on what happens. There will be a bit more of a setup for the Pinnacle coffees and the coffee library coffees. So we're looking at getting some sort of freezer to store frozen coffee for us, whether that's going to be in the bench or it's going to be a drawer that we store the tubes in, up the brewing end of the bar, so make things a little bit easier for us. A few of the other changes that might be happening, we might be getting a new FETCO, thank God, possibly getting a double FETCO, so we can make 2 brews at once. And we'll be getting this new, it's like a free pour for batch brew. So think about kind of like a beer tap in a bar. Instead of a keg, it's a batch brew pot. So it's a matter of just hitting the button and it filling up the cup from the bench.
You have your air pots underneath, so the air pots won't sit on top of the bench, they'll sit underneath the bench. A line will feed in through the bench into the air pot, and then the coffee gets dispensed through a little tap. So we're hoping to put 4 of those on the bar, so we can do 1 cold, 3 hot, and we can have like more of an offering for our batch. We can have 1 natural, 1 washed. We can maybe do a cold one, and then we can even like experiment with having our blends on batch as well. So we can kind of cycle through those, or whatever's kind of, we're wanting to kind of get rid of on the frozen library as well. So.
Yep. I think, are we still going to be replacing the SP9s with something else?
So the SP9s, yes, are going, and we are thinking about, but yeah, it's kind of gone down the list of the mod bar filter. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the steam one, like the free floating mod bar steam one, that's going because nobody uses that shit. The obviously just re kind of jigging how the jug rinses system works as well. Probably going to be pulling out that entire system and just replacing it with a normal milk fridge and a smaller jug rinser.
And also thinking about getting like a little bucket that goes into the bench for like milk jugs, just so to kind of clear off that back space, so it gives you guys more room for like dumping dishes. So yeah, so there's lots of things, but yeah, Dean, our builder, is under the pump at the moment, as all builders are. So yeah, so that will slowly kind of happen. But yeah, the first and foremost is fixing the RO and then the Petco.
Yeah, I think that's about it for what's happening on the bar. Another thing we recently started, I haven't actually announced it at all, but you would know that we're freezing our blends now. So we now have all the blends available on bar. We have that recipe sheet as well. So the reason for that is so that we have more consistency when we brew those. That rather than just grabbing a bag off the shelf and quickly, roughly pulling some shots till we get something that looks okay, and then serving that to whoever it might be, whether it's whether it's a customer that wants to try Crave, or whether it's Josh has got a few people in to try some stuff. This way we can make sure that what we're serving is more consistent and more consistent in a flavor way, but also that we're all making the same recipes and stuff like that. So our job is to kind of keep that stocked up, and then once we get the frozen dose freezer, we can have a few more options available. But yeah, so making sure that we keep those stocked up, making sure you're paying attention to those recipes, because they are slightly different than a normal espresso or a normal milk shot. So that's the reason that I turned off the auto purge function on the machine. So now it's a start and stop button, so that you can manually extract those copies. Yeah, so it's not, if a customer wants them, they can come to them. We're not actively advertising that we're doing that, but if they're interested in trying it, it's going to be available. So
do you recommend that all the baristas have a go at like pulling those yeah.
It's a little tricky doing manual start and stop stuff, because you have to kind of pay attention. So on the recipe sheet, you would have seen it's obviously got dose, yield, time. There's a cut section as well. So the cut is when you press a button. So for example, the Crave Milky is the 33 gram yield. So you'll cut it at 30 grams. So whenever your weight reaches 30 grams, you hit the button, and then after a few drips, it's going to hit 33 grams. Yeah. So yeah, definitely play around with that. I recommend everyone try a Crave espresso, because whatever, it'll put some hairs on your chest.
Yeah, you just want to be confident in your ability to be able to pour those shots. For Josh or any of the other BDMs that come in, they might not necessarily book a time, and they don't necessarily have to. So that they could just be sitting next to someone and start chatting. It's like, hey, like you're opening up a cafe here. Do you want to just try some of our shots? And you guys need to be able to pull those shots and make it taste exactly how it should. So yeah, definitely have a go at that.
The other thing you guys will have noticed from a while back is the barista book. So the reason I started doing that was just so that that everybody has that knowledge available to them at any time. It's not that I don't want people to text me to ask me questions and stuff, but it's just a lot better for you guys to have all that stuff there. So obviously you got your dialing sheets and your espresso compasses and your filter compasses and stuff like that. But there's also some more advanced stuff. There's actually, it tells you how to clean a mythos if that is ever something you have to do on the fly. There's lots of information on dosing for tea. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, make sure you have a look through that barista book, the folder in the top top drawer. Because chances are every question you want to know is probably in there. And yeah, I'm definitely open to some suggestions if there's something I'm missing in there as well. Cool. So trying to think where to go next. All right. So for the past couple of months, the managers and head baristas of each state have been getting together and having a monthly Zoom meeting called the Knowledge Talks, where we pretty much kind of get together and there's a particular person who will present a new idea each month. So we actually just had one today. We were with Mike Wells, and he was showing us a few cold brew sig drinks. In the past, we had some people from Sydney talk about experimental processings like carbonic maceration and stuff like that. We ran some experiments where we fermented some fruits and tasted the flavors of those fruits. Yeah, so that's what the managers and stuff have been up to. The whole reason for this is that we pass this information on to you guys and onto the staff as well. It's been a little bit difficult to do that, obviously for COVID reasons, but hopefully coming out of that now, we can start having more meetings like this, and we can present that stuff to you. So I guess expect more of that stuff in the future.
They're also on Workplace. So every one of our knowledge talks I record and chuck up on Workplace. In the knowledge library, there's a coffee library, and all of the presentations as well as the videos are all up there as well. So you guys are free to view all that information.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do as well is I'd like for all of us to get together and run cuppings once a month now would be really cool. So in that, it's just like whoever wants to turn up can turn up. And we go through, this is floor stuff as well. We go through, we taste everything that we have available, you know, on the shelf at a given time. We talk about flavor, we talk about, you know, brewing and stuff like that. So yeah, getting everyone more engaged in that sort of stuff is going to be really valuable for us. In the future as well, I'd like for you guys to run those sessions as well, because I think that would be fun. Hopefully it's fun. Also, I'd love to run a train your senses night, like an internal train your senses night as well. So if anyone hasn't done that before, it's a bunch of different sections. Each section runs a different tasting and sensory experience. So it might be tasting different kinds of fruit and talking about acids and sweetness. There might be a sweet, sour, salt kind of test as well. There's the Lone kits, there's smelling kits and stuff like that. So we've ran that for customers and I guess you know, the general public before, but we haven't really done it internally. So I think that'd be a really good thing to do in the next couple of months. And I'd love for you guys to run sections yourself as well, so you can kind of you know.
Well, you learn more. You learn more when you're having to kind of run it. So
yeah. Sweet, that'll be really good. All right. Let's try to figure out where to go next. Does anyone have any questions so far? Anything they want to, any input that anyone has? That was me stalling to try and figure out the next thing to talk about, by the way. So feel free to say something. All right. All right, so I guess the next thing to talk about is just a few of the changes moving forward, because it's been such a long time since we had one of these meetings. I'd just like to get everyone on the same page regarding certain expectations. There's some, you know, some things that I think we've, and I think we all do this as being included, have kind of lost focus a little bit on exactly what we're doing here. So I guess the question I want to ask you guys is, what do you think, why do you think Veneziano wanted to open this cafe? Like what does this cafe do for this brand?
I'm going to go out I'm going to suggest brand positioning as a wholesale company.
Yeah, for sure.
Bingo.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's great that we're here, you know, serving our customers every day. But that's really just a small part of the reason we're here. Stuff like that keeps us afloat, I guess, in a way. And it's good to get.
Well, the other side of the business kind of keeps this cafe afloat.
Yeah. It's good to have a public brand positioning and public brand awareness and stuff like that. So really, the reason we're here for the most part is for a wholesale reason, so that, you know, potential
Customers come in all the time, and you would not even know that they are potential customers.
Yeah.
And they come in here and they scope out, and they're like, are these guys serious about coffee? Do they know what they're talking about? So, you know, it's not just the Google reviewers that we need to be mindful of, but it is the potential wholesale customers. And it, it all kind of, there's a big focus on that. So just being aware of those people as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess to just go over some really basic stuff that we would hopefully all know. But I just want it to be a bit more fresh in your minds, just because it's super important stuff, even if it is pretty straightforward. Obviously, it's our job to make sure that the coffee that we're making is the best that we can possibly make it. So making sure we're sticking to recipes, making sure shots are running on time or within a reasonable amount of variance. So, you know, 3 seconds quick, 3 seconds slow is kind of okay. If something's running at 30 seconds, pull it again. If something comes out 19 seconds, pull it again, that sort of stuff. Making sure that, you know, we're focusing on milk. So you're steaming a good jug of milk. If you're you know, too frothy, feel free to throw it out and do it again. If you're too bubbly, feel free to throw it out and go again. Making sure that latte art is crisp, not washed out. We're also trying to do better than just monk's heads at this point as well. So I think the bare minimum for latte art, as far as I'm concerned, is a tulip, so a 2-leaf tulip.
It's just remembering, like, people take photos, they chuck it up on Instagram, but it's also what we want the bare minimum to be. And, you know, if you need some help with latte art, then plenty of people in the building that can help with that. But, you know, you just focus on, you know, getting that ring of crema, and having at least a 2-leaf tulip as a bare minimum.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like, you know, what you're serving to, say, the likes of Dico or Lance, you know, it's making sure that you basically want to stick it to them, okay? Show off, you know, make sure you're doing really good latte art, and it shuts them up, okay? Because otherwise, if you're not, I hear about it, but also they think that that's what's going out to the customers. That's what they're worried about, and they want to make sure that they're receiving the same coffee standards as the customers. So if they're not receiving latte art, or, you know, a coffee that's tasting good, well, then I'm going to hear about it, and then I go chase up Lockie. So basically stick it to them, and just pour the best latte art you can.
That extends to takeaways as well. You know, no more dumping milk straight into a takeaway just to get it out.
It actually changes the flavour of the coffee. So I don't want to be seen, and Lockie doesn't either, like, just dumping the milk. You need to bring that crema all the way up to the top, and a dot is fine. You don't worry about latte art for takeaways, but bare minimum needs to be a peach butt or a monk's head for takeaway. And for your cappuccinos for dine-in, No more putting chocolate on top. We're not Donut King. You need to put the chocolate powder on the base and then bring it up as part of your latte art.
Yeah.
Don't need to do that for takeaway though. Put the sprinkles on top because by the time you bring it up, there's no sprinkles left.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And on takeaways as well, pour from a jug. Don't stick it underneath the Uber.
We're not 7-Eleven, and it tastes different. Okay, so and yeah, like we just need to show a bit more pride, because you just don't know who's watching. And again, it's about that whole brand experience and that customer experience. So we just need to up our game.
Yeah. A couple of other little things to add to all that as well. We've got a really big push at the moment for trying to get the floor staff to be aware of the coffees that we're offering and to be knowledgeable about those coffees as well, so they can best direct customers in the right direction. So I've been asking them to come up to the bar at the start of the shift, which has been a little bit difficult, to be honest. But we just need to be like really on them about knowing what's on, right? So this is my responsibility, but it's also your responsibility as well. So like make sure that the people who are on the floor know what's happening and know what's on. Especially over the weekend, like a lot of the time we can change copies if something runs out. Make sure that that is expressed to everybody in the building so that everybody is on the same page.
And you don't have to give like a speech to the customer on what the coffee is. Like Ollie the other day, he's like, "Oh, Jade, here's the espresso. It's a new Guatemalan." And I'm like, "Oh, great, thank you. I just kind of want to know what I'm drinking." So yeah, it seems to be working. Yeah.
And that's also for the Pinnacle coffees, because God knows at $15 or $17, you want somebody to be able to tell you what you're drinking. So yeah, making sure that who is running that knows, because right now it's been unfortunate that we haven't got some cards available for some of those coffees.
Have you got the Margot cards?
A few of those, yeah. We just don't have it to zero at all. And yeah, making sure that who is running that knows what those tasting notes are, knows what the varietal is, knows about the processing, and they can let the customer know all about that as well. And then one final thing is we need to really get on top of our cleaning and our prep. So in regards to cleaning, I'm going to be trying to figure out a new way to make this easy for everybody. And I'm open to some input as well. So in the past, I mean, most cafes you would have worked at would have had some sort of cleaning roster or a checklist or something like that. I just want to figure out the best way that one, gets everything done, and two, is just easy for you guys to work with as well. Because there's some jobs that need to get done daily. There's some jobs that need to get done weekly, and then there's the occasional one that's once or twice a month that needs to get done. So I have a list of pretty much every job that I can think of that needs to get done in the bar, and we need to figure out a way that we can prioritize these and make sure that they're getting done. So I don't know if that means like, oh, every Tuesday you always do this, every Wednesday you always do this, or maybe it's something that rotates a bit more often than that. But yeah, so I'm open to hearing your guys' feedback on that. Because I know lately I've been leaving some notes, I guess. You have a to-do list in the morning, and with any luck, you can get some of that stuff ticked off. I think it can be super hard, but you kind of just have to hustle. But yeah, I guess, does anyone immediately have any thoughts or any ideas regarding that?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
I think we can utilize Workplace more efficiently using our communication channel. Because like the rostering procedure, I mean, those weekly cleaning procedures and those checklists are great, but it doesn't account for days that are extremely busy, or people understaffed, or people having to leave early, et cetera, et cetera. So having a communication channel where you can forward it to your team, being like, hey, I can't get this done today. Can someone help look after it because it was extremely busy today?
Yeah.
It sort of just increases the teamwork and the camaraderie within the bar team. So I think that could be a approach that we could explore.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I really like that idea. Yeah, that's cool. Gab, did you want to say something?
I just want to say that, like sometimes we don't know like what to do, like how many amount of things that we need to prep. So we can have a sheet, let's say, chai Monday to Friday. Okay, at least before we close, we're gonna have a full bottle at least. And OJ Monday to Friday, we're gonna have at least 2 bucket. If we are like 1 bucket, 1 like box short, and we just make a box. And for weekend, maybe 3 box, and we can on Friday we can prep like 3 exact box of OJ for the weekend, something like that. So like every time like before we close, or we are quiet, and we can just look at the list of the things that we need to do, and something like that.
Yeah, that's really
Feel free to like share that stuff with some of the front of house. Like if you've got heaps of things to do, sometimes like the front of house, or I know other times they're busy, but like they just want something to do, and they're happy to kind of dosing up things, or it doesn't always have to be the baristas doing that stuff, so you can kind of share that knowledge with them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I really like those ideas. I think they're really, really good. I was going to mention about that as well, like making sure that ideally have no prep done over the weekend. Like if we have everything ready to go by Friday, and that doesn't mean Friday's the only person to do it all, but like, progressively over the week, we have enough extra stock that it means the weekend doesn't really need to do anything. That would be fantastic. So yeah, probably 4 boxes of oranges ready to go for the weekend. Ideally as well, regarding the like gingerbread syrup and the chai syrup, is you have pretty much going through 1 bottle every day of that chai syrup. So you have a bottle ready to go and an extra one in the fridge. So pretty much always have a +1 ready to go. So yeah, that's.
So it's just creating pilots.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I can put together that sort of stuff. That's the everyday prep sort of stuff. And yeah, we can have it as a par level system. So if you go look around and say, oh, we're short a box of oranges, I'll make sure to prep some oranges today. And as well, from what Alex said, I know it's getting really, really busy at the moment coming into Christmas, and it is super difficult to get all the work done. Definitely rely upon the floor people to get things done. And if there's just some stuff that you can't get to, then it's fine. I think we should make a system in the workplace chat that says, hey, we didn't get to this today. Can we make sure that tomorrow prioritizes, making the chai or something like that? Yeah, for sure. I can make sure to get all that started. Yeah, sweet.
And can I just say one thing about like with stock for things like milkshakes, where we have to go to the shop and buy them, if you notice that you're running low, just to make a note, like whether that's in the handover chat or whatever, but just telling someone you've noticed, oh, we've got no Ovaltine left, because then it goes to the weekend and we're like, oh shit, we got none.
Yeah, exactly. Ideally just shoot me a message. It'd be great if I can't always be on top of that stuff as much as I'd like to. It's sort of like one of those things that sits in the back of my mind, but I don't always pay a huge amount of attention to. So yeah, if you do happen to notice that, oh, we're onto our last tin of Ovaltine, just shoot me a message and I'll pick some up. I just went through and bought a bunch of stuff today, so we should be okay for a little while. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So next thing I want to talk about is the new station training checklist that we have. I think maybe Jade's probably a better one to talk about this because she put them together.
So basically, I think I talked about this in my first meeting that I joined, but I wanted to create a checklist of items that need to be completed for each of the stations in the cafe. And this just helps more so with onboarding. So when we're training new staff, everything that that person needs to be responsible for, they know in their first couple of days of being with us. I think, you know, working in the cafe through lockdown last year, I felt a little bit out of my depth on some when I first started, because I hadn't worked in a cafe in a while. And it's just not a nice feeling to not know what you're meant to do. So I think it's our responsibility to share everything about a certain role with new staff members so that they have all the tools in their toolbox to do the very best they can at their job. So for instance, you know, we've got like a checklist for the register, for front of house, for supervisor open, supervisor close, barista open, barista close. And for, you know, the supervisor open and close and the barista open and close, I've basically just collected all the information from Lockie and Kate's checklist, and I've just put it into a format so that, and I'm also working on a digital format for these. So it'll be, you know, a digital form that we would complete with the staff, and then that would sit on a database. So then you'll be able to see in one place, it's called Job Form, all the people that have passed their station training checklist and all the people that haven't. And so it's, you know, part of onboarding. But then if you're noticing that someone, or Lockie or Kate are noticing that, you know, someone's not doing one particular thing that is on this checklist, then you can bring that back up with them and say, you know, these are all the areas that you're doing really well in. These are the areas that we need some focus on. And, you know, I'll just be reviewing your checklist. And yeah, the whole idea is to pass each of these checklists. The register one in particular, and also front of house, it's just about sharing the responsibility of everything that needs to get done in the cafe. So things like the retail is a big one. I think sometimes not everyone knows what they're responsible for. So for the register, like, your responsibility is that register area. So it's about coming out from behind the bar, seeing what the customer is seeing, and, you know, making sure that there's enough retail stock there. And, you know, for the floor staff, it's any time you're walking past the retail, if you see a gap, fill it up. Dico has been on my case for the last couple of weeks, as Kate knows, just about the retail, and he just doesn't want to see any gaps. We just can't have any gaps in the retail because it's just you know, lost sales. And I know there's been issues with when the retail stock has been delivered, and I'm working on that with Keith on creating a better system for that, because, you know, it's not fair on you guys that if you have a delivery that should be delivered on a Tuesday, that it's not coming till Wednesday, and then you guys are busy, and then you're getting Dico saying, why isn't the retail stocked? And it's like, not your fault. So I am working on that. But anyway, these training checklists are going to be a good thing for everyone's training, and just everyone being on the same page, basically. Cool.
So that's kind of the end of like the more specific stuff. I do have some more like individual notes as well. Does anyone have anything to add at this point in time? No? Cool. All right, sweet. So there's a bit of like a rapid fire of little things I've noticed and I want us to kind of focus on. First of all is I want everybody who works in the bar, whether that's 5 days a week or, you know, covering breaks or whatever it happens to be, I want everyone to know how to manually distribute. So I noticed a lot of people using the distribution tool. I have no major problem with the distribution tool. I think that manually distributing is quicker. And I think it potentially could be better, but it's more of understanding what we're trying to achieve when you distribute. So yeah, I want everyone who doesn't currently manually distribute, or people who aren't very confident manually distributing. I want you to kind of work on that over the next few weeks, and I'll help you to do that as well, because I want everyone to at least know how to do that correctly. Next up is making sure we're all cleaning up for ourselves, cleaning up after ourselves. So, you know, if you've jumped in to cover a break and you're on shots and it's been really, really busy and there's a lot of, you know, kind of coffee that's kind of spilled out onto the grinders and onto the bench and stuff like that, whenever the person comes back from their break, that's your responsibility to clean that stuff up. That's not something that gets left for the incoming barista. Same with the milk section, same with, you know, if I ask you to make a milkshake and you know, drop a bunch of ice onto the bench, don't just walk away from it. That's your responsibility to clean that up.
You want to leave it how you'd like it to be found.
When you get sent on a break, obviously it's important to go on break quickly, but don't just leave. Make sure that everything is stocked up. Make sure that the next half hour is going to be seamless, and you know, we're not going to run out of cups, we're not going to run out of oat milk. Just do a quick once over, grab some extra stock in, you know, 2-3 minutes if you can, and then head on your break after that. Did we lose Kate? Make sure we're charging scales as well. I know it's been pretty low on scales. There was a set of scales that broke last week. So I'm going to get some more scales, but making sure that the second you see it start saying low battery, plug it in. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I'm going to buy a charging port. Oh, you got one there? Sick. I'm going to steal it.
No, don't steal that one. That's for the training
I'm
room.
stealing it. Yeah. I'm going to multi-charging port, and maybe we can start plugging things in each night rather than just whenever things get dead. So I'll look into that. Making sure you're adjusting the grind size stickers on the EK. So if you dial in a new filter and it requires a different grind size, making sure you move that sticker to the new filter grind size. Also making sure that we're writing down in the dial-in sheet when recipes are changing or when copies are changing. That really helps. Well, it's not even really helping. It's just ideal. It's just exactly what you should be doing. You know, I don't have to come in after a few days off and, you know, we've changed over to a new copy, but no one's written down a recipe. It's just making me have to do another dial in, which I didn't have to do. You right, Amy? You good?
You can go on mute, Amy, so we don't hear you yawning.
Sorry.
All right. I want to keep the phone use on the bar to a minimum. I get that we need to send people messages. I get we need to check workplace and stuff like that. But we're not standing around all day on our phones. We got some work to do.
It's just not a good look either.
Yeah. So, you know, keep your phones in your bags, or
if you need to then go in behind the bar and like doing it there, like not behind the bar, sorry, behind from out of the bar. You know what I mean? Like down the hallway or whatever, because it's just not a good look.
Yeah. If there's any issue with equipment, if anything breaks, if coffee is tasting bad, if we run out of coffee, if there's anything you hear from like Dicko or from a customer regarding feedback that I need to know, send me a message. Just text me straight away and I can handle those things. Like, I'm more than happy, even if it's my day off, I'm more than happy to call out BrewTech and get them to come in and stuff like that. So make sure, you know, if there is something, you know, going really, really wrong, just try and keep me in the loop at least.
And me as well. Yeah. I'll probably hear about it anyway. So.
Yeah. I guess as well, that's kind of related, is if there's stock that we run out of, both, well, not even like myself, Kate, Selena, and I'm pretty sure Gab have an account with Automentum. So, you know, if you see that we're going to run out of filter coffee in the next couple of days, let one of those people know, and they can put in an order for a few bags just to get us through. Something I want everyone to kind of keep a bit more of an eye on is the dishwasher chemicals. So there's 2 chemicals beside the dishwasher that are pretty integral for it to run correctly. And when they run out, it takes almost like a full day for the new one to run back through the system. So if you ever notice, like, there's lots of splotches and gross stuff still on plates and cups when they come out, it's probably because something's run out. So just keep an eye on those chemicals. There's more of those chemicals in the chemical cupboard out the back, and making sure to swap them over. Just make sure you don't get anything on your skin, because that shit's pretty brutal. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that stuff. All right, next one. I already know how to do that. Yeah. There's a couple of things to note about just keeping the bar clean and uncluttered. So it's important to remember that the 500 section along the side of the bar is still a section. It's still the place that people sit, and there shouldn't really be anything on those benches. So, you know, if you've just made a pour over for a customer, making sure you pop that filter in the bin and, you know, put it through the wash and clear out that section. Don't just leave stuff sitting there all day long. If a batch brew pot is empty, popping it in the dish section to clean, or popping it onto the floor away from the bar, rather than just shifting it over to the center of the table. As well as coffee bags, or aprons and stuff like that. Like that 500 section, particularly that grinder section, like behind the EK on the 500s, it's not a storage section for stuff like that. Like, bring your apron.
It goes for like, sorry, just say like empty empty milk boxes.
Yes.
They shouldn't be stuck behind the EK, and they shouldn't be left on that shelf that's in the hallway. I know we don't have access to the warehouse at the moment, but if you just keep them in the like recycling bin next to the till, and then we can take them out when we do the bins. But I feel like I'm constantly picking up boxes of like empty soy boxes and stuff and moving them.
Yeah, totally. That's totally right. Keep the milk on the back bar as well. So rather than during a rush, it's kind of handy to have them nearby, but making sure that once that rush is over, you move everything back into the place it's meant to be. So that milk stays on that back bar or in the fridge if it's particularly quiet. Like, don't line up the milk on like near the steam wand, or near like the lids and stuff. Like, we need that pass to serve coffee. It needs to be as uncluttered and open as possible. Next thing, can we please make sure that when we're washing Nora and Parker lids, that we open them up? Because there's no way that it's going to get clean if it's closed, and people putting their mouth all over that shit, and and then we're just using them again for another customer. So yeah, when you pop that in the dish, like, crack open that lid and wash it open. When we get a new order in, so in regards to like soy and almond, that gets piled up outside the door. Like, that's where the delivery driver will leave it. That's now a responsibility to put that stuff away. Cut the strapping off the almond milk before you pop it in, because that's just a nightmare to have to run and get a pair of scissors when you need a box of almond. So cut all that strapping off. Make sure to rotate that milk as well. So if there's a couple of boxes of soy in there, put those ones on top of the new pile, so we use them first. But yeah, we can't have that stuff sitting in the hallway for days on end. it needs to get dealt with. The same with the coffee order when it comes in. So a lot of the time the coffee order is okay, but the tins stay there for a few days. So making sure we're putting the tins in the 456 as well.
If anything, that area, it's a fire hazard to have stuff there. So we need to be clearing that stock ASAP. Like that doorway needs to not have anything just staying there.
This is a simple one, just obviously making sure that we're rotating milk on the bar as well. So whenever you restock a bunch of bottles, make sure you pop them back of the stock that is already on the bar. Same with the bladders, like try and keep the oldest stock at the top and keep grabbing from the top when you refill. So making sure to like rotate those around so that we're not using the newest stock first and then the old stuff just sticks around for ages. Another one which really gets my goat is in the milkshake section, like making sure that you wash the ice cream scoop after each use. So like it can't go through the dishwasher because it'll lose its coating. So you just have to hand wash it. But what I find as well is, like, I know some people are like putting it in a jug full of water. I find that jug doesn't get clean often enough, and often I'll come in the next morning and it'll still be there. So just wash the scoop each use. We make what, like four or five milkshakes a day tops. It's just like scoop the ice cream in, just rinse the scoop straight away, and then pop it back in the section. Don't just like drop it onto the bench still covered in ice cream as well. That's just a no-brainer. And then something we used to do, which we haven't been doing for a little while, but we should start doing again, is having a dedicated cloth to wipe any spills on cups. So rather than just grabbing the same cloth you've been wiping the bench with all day and then just rubbing the rim of a cup because it's got a bit of bit of coffee on it. Yeah, making sure we have a fresh, clean cloth that we only use for that.
So put it, yeah, like on a saucer.
Yeah, just on a pass.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that was
Your long list is done.
my long list is done.
And can I just say one other thing, just something little. Every time I walk past the office, that door is open, and we've had money taken from that office, like tips. Yep. So I know that we've got money in that office again, and I know it's in a safe, but there's other equipment in there. We just need to shut that door. So yeah, just shut it behind yourself. And yeah.
Does anyone have anything to add? Anything to say? Kate, you got any thoughts? I'm gonna assume you're shaking your head. No.
Sorry, I'm just trying to unmute. No, not really. I think you just covered everything.
Yep.
Just the usual stuff, like keep an eye on the till. Like even if you're like got a million dockets up, just say hi to the customer and let them know you'll be with them in a second. Yeah, just like I know when you're on shots and stuff, you're concentrating, but just looking up every now and then and just checking someone hasn't like snuck past you and is stood at the till waiting, because it's a little bit awkward sometimes if they're stood there for a while. But other than that, like I've definitely noticed like an improvement in everyone, like baristas running coffees more and stuff. So that's been really helpful. So yeah, just, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that as well. It's good.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
And if there's anything that you guys need from people upstairs or from the training department, or if there's anything, anything that will make your job easier, like coffee knowledge, let me know so we can we can work on that stuff. So if there's something that isn't working in the cafe, like just speak up about it, and so we can do something about it. And yeah, anything that you need, like if you need more information on the Pinnacle coffees, or you want it to be presented in a different way to you guys rather than just reading off a card, let us know. Maybe there needs to be more videos done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a new cleaner.
Yeah, we're getting a new cleaner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no tipping mop. Gross. Down there.
Oh, yeah, just with that, she's don't say anything to Christine because she doesn't know, but she is. Yeah, we're getting a whole new cleaning company in 2 weeks, but she doesn't know that. So just when she's in,
Nice.
if everyone just, you know, but obviously be civil and say hello and all that, but you don't need to engage with her.
Yeah.
So just
When
yeah,
will
just
her last day?
so we get the new cleaners on the 22nd.
22nd.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice.
So just yeah, just be
Okay.
civil with, like, I mean everyone, but yeah, just don't engage with her. Don't rise to her stupid shit.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's kind of it. I'm glad that this did go for 2 hours.
Same.
Yeah, I'd like to have more of these meetings, like more often.
I think we did one once a month, and they'll become shorter.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah, and that can coincide with like our coffee knowledge talks and stuff like that. Hopefully in person, that'd be sick. We can do some cuppings and just kind of get everyone a bit more engaged. COVID's been kind of shit for just like actually, you know, job enjoyment and stuff like that. Like I hope that like once we get back to normal, we can start doing like public cuppings and more events and the stuff that are actually fun to do. Yeah, thanks everyone for sticking this out, but, you know, also sticking out, you know, the difficult, busy few years. And yeah, thanks, champ. Cheers, Dory. Yeah, so, you know, hopefully everyone has a good Christmas. Those that are working, hopefully you enjoy it. Those that aren't, hopefully you enjoy that. And yeah, hopefully in the new year we can start doing some more fun stuff.
thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.